Hi everybody, Greg Vadney here at the Rahr West Art Museum, and welcome back to one of our wonderful Rahr West Art Museum live stream events. Again, we're here in the Vilas Rahr Mansion with our artist Sonia Vasquez, working on the Manitowoc Community Portrait Project. And you know, we're looking outside, the snow is falling, winter is here in earnest, and you know what that means. 2020 is almost over, which is great news for all of us. Sonia is going to be working on some of the portrait work that she does, and we're going to talk a little bit about the portrait project in general, and we're going to talk a little bit about kind of artwork in our community as she goes along. I want to thank all of you for joining us. Thanks very much to Vagabond for putting together this live stream event for us. And we want to thank our friends at Art Bridges Foundation who contributed the funds to make this project possible. Now, some of you might ask, what do you mean project? Now, not only are we working with Sonia to create portraits of our community, but in celebration of Manitowoc's 150th anniversary, we also want you to contribute to this project. And part of that are picking up art kits at the Rahr West Art Museum. Obviously, we're closed to the public right now. We hope to be open early in 2021. But for the time being, we have art kits outside in a clear plastic box. You can stop by the Rahr West, pick up one of these art kits, and what you'll find inside, a little information about the project, a piece of Arch's art paper, and a few instructions. First of all, you're going to want to create a self-portrait on one side of the Arch's paper. And then on the back, we have a question for you. And that question is, how do you feel about your identity in relation to Manitowoc? And what we're trying to get out of that is, how does it feel to be part of Manitowoc right now at this point in history? You know, we intended this to be a celebration of what does Manitowoc look like in at its 150th year anniversary. But it also is going to make for a great historic archive of how we felt about life in Manitowoc during the pandemic in 2020. A very valuable document. And of course, the document is one side, but the other side is you being creative. Even though we're closed, the arts are always open, and they're open to you. And we want to encourage you to make sure that you show your creative side. And for any artist, I'm sure Sonia would say it's daunting to create a self-portrait. So Sonia has also helped us by recording a primer, a short class on how you can do the basics of creating your self-portrait. You can find that on our Facebook page or on our YouTube page. So it's not that difficult, and we're not looking for expertise. What we're looking for is for you to share some of yourself with us and with the community. So you pick up these kits, do them at home. You can practice. You don't have to go first time on the Arch's art paper. But in the end, we want you to return those papers to us. And next year in 2021, we'll be exhibiting our entire community's self-portraits as a mosaic, not only to share our creativity, but also the answers to those questions. How do we see ourselves as a community right now? We hope that you'll get involved in it. And we hope that you enjoy this and our other live stream events here at the Rahr West Art Museum. Now I'm going to turn it over to you, Sonia. What are we working on today?
So today we are working on a portrait of a family friend. Her name is Ruth. She is from the Cherokee tribe in northern Michigan. but she moved to Manitowoc where she kind of found a different type of community here. And I wanted to paint her not only because I think she has a great story and a great history, but also because she was pretty pivotal in Manitowoc and in my life. She became like a grandparent to me, a very good friend to my parents and to the rest of my family. So I'm excited to paint her. She can't be with us to sit for me because she's in a nursing home. So especially during the pandemic, we can't really be having that right now. So I have a picture of her that I'm going off of, and that's where we'll go from there. And if you have any questions along the way, I'm happy to answer any questions you have in regard to the painting process or the project, anything to do with it. So yeah.
So Sonia, you're going to be working off of a photograph
Yeah.
today.
Yep.
In the past, some of our live streams we've done with a live model here, which I know in the past you've said is always a really excellent opportunity.
Yes.
Are there any significant differences and challenges when you're working with a photograph?
Yeah, so I'd say like one of the biggest things is that photographs tend to flatten everything. So you don't get the three-dimensionality that you would get like if I were painting Greg right now. I can see how the light forms on the actual 3D person. But also seeing the true color of somebody. Photographs tend to not really pick up the actual color of somebody's skin or the clothing that they're wearing. So you don't get that dimensionality and complexity of color that you get in person versus a photograph. So yeah, I tend to try to take things in my mind and be like, okay, well, like maybe how would this look actually in person? Like what do I know from experience tends to exist in real life. So like one of those examples might be that like, around the eyes we have a little bit more redness, the skin is thinner around there, so we see a little bit more blood vessels and things like that. So, a photograph might not pick that up as well or might pick it up more as brown. Whereas I know from experience that sometimes it's leans a little bit more red. So there's things like that I keep in mind when I'm working from photographs.
And you do a lot of portrait art, right? So you probably do work extensively with photographs, and especially I imagine that during the past 9 months, a lot of your work has been with photographs rather than people sitting for you just because they can't because of social distancing. And I do want to mention too, even before we get going too far into this, that you are a working artist and you do portraits, portrait commissions.
Yep.
And I want to encourage those people who are tuning in to think about the arts community and how you can support and enjoy the great work of local artists like Sonia. And really the best way to support is to buy art from local artists. And some of it will be commissioned art, but also artists like Sonia do have a collection of artwork that is normally available for sale, correct? So make sure that you check out our local artists here and support them. And I'm gonna let you go for a little while so you can get to work on this. And again, if any questions come up, any comments, please share them. We'll communicate them with Sonia. Thanks.
So just to talk about a little bit about what I'm starting out to do here is what is referred to a lot of the times as like the envelope. So trying to get the big main structure and kind of doing this quickly, not spending too much time on little spots or details or anything, just trying to get the basic shape down of the person or object that you're painting. And just getting the composition as well.
All right, Sonia, just wanted to chime in a little bit for people who are tuning in and maybe haven't seen our live streams in the past. Can you talk a little bit about what you're painting on, what you're painting with? Just a little bit of the background of, first of all, what kind of board do you have there?
Sure. So right now I am painting on the same paper that we offer with the kits.
That'd be the
so,
stuff?
Yep, so the arches. I did extra priming on mine just because of the type of surface that I like to have. I like to have an extra smooth surface that doesn't soak up the paint. So I did 3 extra layers of gesso onto that, that paper. And then I just taped it to this is a gesso board. I forget what the brand is. I don't know if it's gesso board, but you can tape it to any sort of surface that's sufficient. And then the brushes right now that I'm using are the Blick Master Stroke. They're like a hog bristle type of brush. Unfortunately, I forgot most of my brushes at home, so I'm kind of stuck with these 2. So it'll be interesting. But I can always go back in later, and it's probably a good thing anyways, because then I'll be less focused on detail, because I can't get much detail with these.
It's probably important too for people out there to know that you know what you have on hand at home and what you can get your hands on is not dissimilar to what Sonia is using.
Right.
So don't feel like to be able to participate, if you grab one of these kits, that you have to, you know, prep the surface. It doesn't have to be in oil. You can do it with anything you're comfortable with. And in fact, we've gotten some of them in already that might be either pencil or you know, printed material. There's a lot of different ways you can go about this. If you want to try watercolor, you could do that. It needn't necessarily. One of the reasons why we use the Arches paper is because it can be used for a variety of things. So anything from wax, you know, if you're doing it with you know, colored wax like crayon, if you're doing it with pencil, this will accommodate all of those different things. And understand again that we don't seek this out to challenge you in a way that you're going to be frustrated, but we do want to challenge you to be creative in what you do.
Definitely, and I think, you know, there's been times where, like, I've just found a pencil in my purse and felt that I needed to sketch, so that's what I worked with, you know. And I think sometimes putting those restrictions in for yourself too, even if you know, if you're a professional artist or a beginner, is sometimes helps you learn things and just get a little creative with what you have.
So can you give us a little bit of your own personal background? How did you end up kind of gravitating towards portrait art?
Yeah, so I think, you know, ever since I was little, I have been interested in the arts. I think I tend to attribute a lot of it to a very supportive family, friends, really, you know, kind of seeing that I had this interest and being really supportive and pushing me to continue with it. And that's kind of what brought me to where I am now, is what I like to think. But also just, you know, just continuing on with this throughout my high school years and into college and everything. But as for portraits specifically, I think I've just always been interested in drawing people. I'm not really exactly sure why. I do draw other things and paint other things on occasion, but people are definitely my favorite. I think there's just, as humans, we're just interested in other humans, and I think that's probably where a lot of it stems from.
That makes a lot of sense. And I want to give another plug. Both your work, you're available to be able to do commissions, with it being close to the holidays, gift giving time, there is still opportunity for people to contact you and set something up.
Definitely. Yeah, so I do all sorts of things. Right now I'm doing 100 Heads Challenge, where I am doing 3x5 little cards where I just do a single person portrait. It's like kind of a neat little stocking stuffer if that's something that you're interested in. It's more, the reason why I'm doing it is more of like to get me to learn how to do portraits quickly. So I'm doing them within 20 minutes or less. And then you get a portrait out of it for $5. And then I also make lockets. Well, I don't make the lockets myself, but I order them from another craftsperson through Etsy. And she makes the lockets, and then I paint on them. They have 2 small pieces of glass. I paint on one of the pieces of glass and then place the other on top once the painting is dry, so that they then sit in a little locket that you can use as a necklace. I know some people use as like ornaments for a tree, but they are about this big, and so they're 1 5/8 inch by 1 7/8 inch, and they're tiny little paintings, but you can check out some ones that I have done already on my Facebook or Instagram, which is all at Sonia Vasquez Art.
Thank you. I was going to ask how can people find this stuff, but you already answered that question.
For sure.
And I want to stress too that once again, one of the best ways that we can not only support artists in our community, but that we can do our part, if we're not artists, to grow artwork in our community, is to be a patron to artists like Sonia, to purchase artwork that is unique, that comes from somebody that you know and is from your community. Buy local art is kind of a tagline that you hear a lot, but it means something to buy from our community. So I encourage you all, especially right now where you might be looking for those stocking stuffers, you might be looking for some last minute gifts, to look towards art, a unique, an intimate community connection that you can give to other people during this time. Again, I'm going to step away for a little bit, allow Sonia to continue her work, and keep those questions, comments coming, and we'll make sure that we pass them along. Again, thank you to you, Sonia. Thank you to Vagabond for putting this live stream together for us. And thanks to Art Bridges Foundation for contributing towards this project. And remember, for you to take part, stop by the Rahr West at any point. Outside, you'll find a box with art kits so that you can contribute to this Manitowoc Community Portrait Project. Thanks. Sonia, we got a question on the Facebook page about the subject.
Yeah.
And I know you had mentioned before that she is a family friend. Could you talk a little bit about who she is?
Yeah, sure. So she's been a family friend for a long time, since I was quite little. And so she was my parents' friend. She kind of stayed in our lives for a long time. She still is in our lives, my family's, and she became like a grandparent to myself and my siblings. She's currently in a nursing home, so she couldn't be here to model for us. She's also from the Cherokee tribe in northern Michigan. So she has, when I interviewed her over the phone, she had a few interesting things to say about that, and so I'm excited to have her interview as part of the project, which is something that I don't know if we really touched on in one of the live streams, but there is an interview component to all the people that I'm painting. I'm interviewing all of them, and the interviews will be part of the final installation that you'll be able to hear as you walk around. But as for more for Ruth, she kind of told me about, how when she was little, she used to have a lot more issues with being Native and being here. Notably that, she was made fun of and things like that when she was little. A lot of us, tend to know the history of Native people in back years ago. They were kind of forced into, they were forced into schooling that was like the Western way of schooling. So there was definitely disparities between like Western children and Native children in the schools. But Ruth also told me about how she, had community here when she was older, and still does have community here. She did say that she, in order to, really practice things from her culture, she would have to go back up to Michigan to areas where there were other Native people that they could do more traditional things or celebrate and, have cultural traditions and things like that. So she didn't really have as much of a Native community around here, which is, unfortunate. And I think that's one thing that, like, I would like to see more is like more celebration of other cultures around here, and bringing that to everybody around here, making people feel a little bit more welcomed and just feeling like you can practice your culture here, even though maybe it's not the predominant one. So yeah, I thought it would be good to paint Ruth just because there's so many things about her that are super interesting, and I've been wanting to paint her anyways, to be honest. So yeah. And I, part of this was also that I wanted to definitely get all sorts of diversity in there. So Ruth is, I believe, 87. So I wanted to make sure to, get younger people, get elders in there as well.
All right, Sonia, we only have a few more minutes of the live stream, but can you describe a little bit of like from where you are right now, what are going to be your next steps with this portrait?
Sure. So first I'll kind of wait for this layer to dry, and then my next step would kind of be going back in with a little bit more precision. As I said before, I don't have all the proper brushes with me today, but once I get it home, I'll be able to go in with a little bit more like fine detail brushes, start carving those things out, not getting extremely detailed yet, but enough to start, you know, kind of mapping out the smaller things on her face, and making sure things are proportional also. So then after that, I'll go in with another layer, and it's usually a few layers of paint before it kind of finally gets to its end.
Great. And we were talking before about that you have a few art projects that you're working on that would be something that the public might be interested in, for people to be able to contact you for a commission or to purchase art. What's the best way to get in touch with you?
Yeah, so either through Instagram or Facebook, which is at Sonia Vasquez Art. On either of them, you can just search in the search bar on Facebook for at Sonia Vasquez Art, or that's also my name on Instagram, or you can find me through my website, which is soniavasquezart.com.
Thank you, and thank you for stopping by again today on this wintry afternoon. For all of you who are tuning in, we remind you that this is part of the Manitowoc Community Portrait Project, and we want you to be a part of this project too. You can come to the museum even though we're closed anytime, day or night. Outside you'll find a case that has different art kits in it, and what it is basically is just a little bit of background on this project, giving you a little bit of information of what Sonia is doing as part of the project, but also you'll find a piece of art paper. We ask that you do a self-portrait on one side, and on the other side there's a question relating to how you identify as a member of our Manitowoc community. And we ask that you fill it out, bring it back to the museum. We're going to exhibit all of these next year along with Sonia's work and the information she's gotten through the interviews with members of our community to showcase the variety of people that we have here in Manitowoc. And she talked a little bit about that today. The different backgrounds of people that have come together here in 2020 in Manitowoc and make us what we are right now. We want you to take part. We thank you for taking part today. I also want to thank the great people at Vagabond Creative for their work getting this live stream together, and the Coolest Coast for showcasing it, along with the Rahr West Facebook page and YouTube page. And of course our friends at Art Bridges Foundation, the folks that funded this special project to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Manitowoc. We do have some more live stream events upcoming, and you can tune into our Facebook page to find out when and where, and you can tune into those both the end of December and upcoming in January. We wish you all very happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and have a wonderful, wonderful season as we move towards 2021 and hopefully much, much better things. Thanks a lot for tuning in once again, and please do participate in the arts with our projects and in the arts in general.